Introduction. My book, Bath Bombs and Balneotherapy, hit shelves last year, and the response so far has been tremendous. I want to say thank you personally to everyone on the End All Disease Advanced Readers Club who picked up a free pre-release copy of the book and left an honest review on Amazon. As long as you keep the reviews coming in, I'll be happy to offer you pre-release copies of all future books. Writing and publishing books has been the most challenging thing I've ever done. I've heard it aptly compared to overcoming a disease. It's definitely a form of self-sacrifice, but hearing how my work is helping people make the struggle worthwhile. In the interest of keeping the good news flowing, I decided to jump right back into the fire and write another book. Unsure what to write about next, I asked my readers what they would like to learn about. The 4 options for book topics were acne, prostate cancer, breast cancer, and methylene blue. Here are the results of the survey. As you can see, the overwhelming majority of people selected methylene blue. In fact, it won by a landslide. The interesting thing is that most people who chose methylene blue didn't know what it was, other than it was a type of metabolic therapy, in some ways similar to red light therapy. It's clear that people are yearning for practical solutions to disease and ready to move on from the failed genetic-based treatment paradigm and onto medicines that target the metabolism. Is methylene blue one of these medicines? Should people reach for methylene blue when they fall ill with a common cold? And can methylene blue tackle some of the more serious diseases like Alzheimer's, diabetes, or cancer? There are just some of the many questions that I'll answer in the pages to come. This book constitutes the third in a series documenting safe and effective metabolic therapies. Red light therapy and balneotherapy were the first 2. And I'll complete the trilogy with this book on methylene blue. After establishing the foundations of a high-quality metabolic medicine, I'll use this information to begin tackling each individual disease, dispelling the myths about their origins, warning people about any potential dangers associated with mainstream drug and surgical interventions, and then establishing evidence-based treatment protocols that can be used to heal the mitochondrial dysfunction underlying the disease. It is a pleasure to present to you this work about the medicinal blue dye, methylene blue. It's taken almost a year to write and has truly been a labor of love. I hope you enjoy reading it, and thank you for supporting my work. The dye that needs no introduction, but here's one anyways. Want to revitalize the washed out fabric of your favorite blue shirt? Any blue dye will do. But there's one dye in particular, methylene blue, that could put you on the fast track to better health by adding a few drops to a glass of water or your favorite juice. Of course, we will discuss the specific details in later chapters. First, I'd like to give you a basic understanding of the history of methylene blue and an introduction to the many things it could potentially do for you. What is methylene blue? Methylene blue is an inexpensive blue dye developed by scientists in the 19th century for the textile industry. In addition to being a brilliant blue dye for fabric, surprisingly, it was soon discovered to be useful in the scientific laboratory and in medicine. As a stain, it could help scientists see bacteria, parasites, yeast, and other microorganisms when looking under a microscope. By adding the blue dye to microorganisms on an imaging plate, the internal structures and tiny organelles are illuminated and more easily seen by scientists. Remarkably, methylene blue is such a reliable stain that scientists will use it today in laboratories worldwide. But a stain for microscopy is only the tip of the iceberg as far as what methylene blue can do for science in the world. Keeping the fish healthy. Fish hobbyists and fish farmers routinely use methylene blue as a treatment for keeping their fish and aquatic ecosystems healthy. Methylene blue is considered a safe aquarium disinfectant for marine life and is a robust antifungal and antiparasitic agent. It is also used to treat fish eggs to ensure they are not lost to fungal overgrowth. Anybody who has ever had a fish tank knows how delicate aquarium ecosystems are, which is a testament to the safety of methylene blue. Methylene blue can be used to treat some specific fish disorders, including nitrite poisoning, ammonia poisoning, swim bladder disorder, and general fish stress. Dogs, cats, horses, cows, and pigs. Although not specifically approved for veterinary use, veterinarians commonly use methylene blue on numerous types of animals for treating methylmoglobinemia and other chemical poisonings. Later, I will summarize the existing research on methylene blue for various animals so you can see which conditions it might be effective for, and a dose that appears to be safe and effective. An antidote for chemical poisonings. Most people today don't know that if you overdose on a pharmaceutical or street drug, swallow some toothpaste containing the insidious poison fluoride, or eat a poison mushroom, methylene blue is the first line of treatment doctors and nurses will administer in an emergency. In fact, methylene blue is an effective antidote for virtually all chemical poisonings. Also used for drug overdoses and chemical poisonings in hospitals are activated charcoal and sodium bicarbonate, also known as baking soda, which I have written about extensively in my book, Cancer, the Metabolic Disease Unraveled. Malaria cured in 48 hours. Methylene blue was the first anti-malarial drug ever used in medicine and successfully treated all types of malaria in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Methylene blue works by inhibiting the malaria-causing parasite Plasmodium falciparum, including drug-resistant types. Since then, methylene blue has been replaced with other anti-malarial drugs and for some time had been forgotten. But a recent revival of methylene blue research for malaria has shown that it could be the most effective anti-malaria drug ever developed. Viruses don't stand a chance. According to the research, many of the viruses that the public is taught to fear are quickly inactivated by methylene blue, including herpes, West Nile, hepatitis C, Ebola, Zika, HIV, and COVID-19. And perhaps the most promising part is the startling increase in antimicrobial potency of methylene blue when combined with light therapy. It turns out the combination of methylene blue and specific wavelengths of red and near-infrared light poses an even more significant threat to the survival of all types of pathogens and harmful microorganisms. We'll look in depth at methylene blue's potential to treat viral infections in an upcoming chapter. A brain-boosting powerhouse. We all have days when our brain function feels slow, unfocused, and foggy. Can methylene blue help improve brain function and cognition, including parameters such as memory retrieval, attention, and emotional regulation? There's a growing body of evidence that suggests it can. Whether you want to be more productive, more emotionally stable in your relationships, or improve your ability to remember names, dates, or other facts or figures, methylene blue could potentially be a game changer for you. Goodbye, depression. Since the announcement of the COVID-19 pandemic in March 2020, decreased human interaction seems to have become a more or less permanent feature of our lives. These changes essentially mimic the behavior of people who are depressed, which explains why depression is an all-time high. And given that existing antidepressant drugs from pharmaceutical companies, SSRIs, often come with debilitating and sometimes life-threatening side effects, never has the world been more in need of safe and effective remedies for alleviating the root cause of depression. Recent research has shown that a single dose of methylene blue can completely eliminate symptoms of depression in some individuals. From my experience testing dozens of different drugs and nutrients over the past 15 years for their effects on my own depression, nothing has had a more positive impact on my life than methylene blue. If somebody is avoiding the social interactions necessary to live without depression, ultimately their behaviors will need to change for permanent resolution. However, methylene blue might be a great option for you until you forge those meaningful relationships and connections. Forget dementia. When I was a child, my grandfather suffered from Parkinson's disease. Near the end of his life, he couldn't walk, talk, or survive without constant care 24 hours a day by my grandmother. I remember watching him being rolled into our living room in his wheelchair to spend time with the family, knowing that he had no idea who any of us were. I still feel sad when I think about it, and the reality is there are probably millions of people right now who are suffering the same fate after slipping into mental oblivion like my grandfather. Their loved ones pay the price by having to spend all their time caring for them. What could it mean for society if we could alleviate this suffering and need for constant care? Recent research has shown that methylene blue can powerfully target the hallmarks of brain aging that can be found in pathologies like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. These diseases share the common feature of mitochondrial dysfunction, and repairing dysfunctional cellular metabolism is methylene blue's specialty. Imagine the improvement in the quality of life for individuals, families, and society when people with dementia are suddenly able to remember their loved ones' faces and retain their autonomy again. Soon I'll take you on a guided tour of the research on methylene blue for dementia. Cancer cells are targeted first. One of the most remarkable things about methylene blue is that it selectively targets the cells most in need of healing first before others. Any cells which stray from the highly efficient form of energy metabolism called oxidative phosphorylation, including cancer cells, are selectively targeted and restored by methylene blue. This means that the sicker a person is, the more beneficial and profound methylene blue therapy will likely be. Methylene blue therapy for cancer has been studied far more than you might think, and we will go over the fascinating body of research in an upcoming chapter. Directly alongside red light therapy and ball needle therapy, methylene blue therapy represents one of the most promising metabolic interventions for resolving the dysfunctional metabolism seen in cancer. Highly efficient energy storage. One surprising yet fascinating development in methylene blue research is its exceptional ability to store energy and then to release it on command. These characteristics are ideal for someone seeking to develop an efficient battery for storing electricity, which is exactly what researchers have invented. Remarkably, the methylene blue battery operates at a near-perfect efficiency, and when compared to batteries you'll find at your local store, methylene blue batteries are non-pollutant, more efficient, and much less expensive to manufacture. The superior efficiency and non-toxicity of organic methylene blue batteries could revolutionize how the world stores and delivers energy. Dysfunctional metabolism no more. One of the most remarkable scientific discoveries in recent decades is that over 9% of diseases that exist today are metabolic in nature. In other words, no disease pathology can be looked at independently from metabolism. This means that for virtually all diseases, including cancer, the genetic component has been vastly overestimated. From a practical sense, what this means is that if somebody in your family has or had a certain disease, you are in no way destined to develop it. And many times, you're not even at increased risk at all. It is your hands on the steering wheel. Since virtually all diseases are metabolic in nature, understanding how the body's metabolism works and maintaining its efficient function is the key to health and longevity. When cells are unable to use oxygen, methylene blue can act like the missing enzyme, which quickly restores oxidative metabolism. This basic action can explain the long list of healing benefits methylene blue can offer. all with practically no negative side effects. It's not difficult to see why the World Health Organization has added methylene blue to its list of essential medicines. One last thing. My overall goal in writing this book was to create the most complete resource ever written on the subject of methylene blue. I want to help as many people as possible get the quality information they need to become knowledgeable and confident enough to make their own health decisions. This book was designed to help you decide whether you want to add methylene blue to your medicine cabinet by giving you a thorough understanding of the existing scientific and clinical evidence showing what it can do. I hope this book will serve as a timeless and invaluable resource in the decades, even centuries, to come. Once you finish reading, please take a few minutes to write a quick and honest review on Amazon. I read every review personally, and I use the feedback to make improvements to the book in future editions. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my newsletter at endalldisease.com, where you receive all the latest books and articles that I publish, as well as 3 free ebooks just for signing up. Strap yourself in for this adventure into the fascinating world of diet therapy. Let's go.